Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Sana Zafar and you're watching Stars of Nust. हम आपको मिलवाते हैं Nust के brilliant graduates से from all corners of the world. And I'm very excited today because आज हमें एक बहुत ही special guest ने join किया है who is making a difference at so many levels. हमारे साथ हैं Dr. Sara Qureshi. Assalamu alaikum Dr. Sara. Thank you for joining us.
Ji walaikum salam. Thank you for inviting me to your platform.
Dr. Sara ने Nust से graduate किया back in 2000 when she completed her degree in mechanical engineering from EME college. Currently, she is CEO and co-founder of aero-engine crafts, which is first R&D company of Pakistan developing aircraft engines, which are also environment friendly for global aviation industry. And as if it was not impressive enough already, she is also a pilot. I am listening. Dr. Sara, I'm very glad finally we have the chance to sit down and have a talk. Thank you for taking the time out. Before we get into discussion of your journey, we are very curious and really interested to know how all of this happened. आपको flying का शौक कब हुआ? आपको aerospace में PhD करने का क्या reason था? कहाँ से की? How things worked out? उससे पहले please allow me to take a moment to say thank you on behalf of, if not all, most of the females of Pakistan for smashing down so many glass ceilings. Because even if you and I do not directly come from the families जहाँ पे anybody holds anything against female progress or education, we do come from a society जहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा barriers हैं, and we need to talk about them. And I'm really glad that we have such an inspiring, exemplary figure with us today that we can talk about it. हमारे patriarchal system में it is very much embedded that the main purpose, the sole purpose of a female's life is to get married, have kids, and make gold roti. So I'm pretty sure that you can make gold roti. I know you, mashallah, have a daughter. And for our patriarchal system, you do have a side dish as well that you make aircraft engines. And you're also a pilot. So, mashallah, that is so amazing, so inspiring. Thank you very much for doing all that.
Thank you.
प्लीज बताइएगा थोड़ा सा अपनी जर्नी के बारे में, कहाँ से स्टार्ट हुई, आपने फ्लाइंग का शौक कब हुआ, इंजीनियरिंग एवरीथिंग.
Okay, journey फिर हम Nust से start कर लेते हैं. Basically, I was born and raised in Islamabad in Pakistan, and I got enrolled in Nust. मेरा शुरू से I had a focus from very early years. I think when I was doing my O levels, A levels, I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew the stepping stones as well. So शुरू से मेरा इंटरेस्ट था इंजन्स में, कार्स में, एयरक्राफ्ट में. तो उसके लिए मुझे पता था कि मैंने मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग करनी है. और फिर ऑब्वियसली जब हम नस्ट में अप्लाई किया तो उस वक्त आई क्वालिफाइड ऑन मेरिट फॉर मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग, बट इट इज सेड कि हम लड़कियों को नहीं देते मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग में. तो वहां से मेरी जो एक स्ट्रगल थी ना, वो उस दिन से I think I was 18. That's when my, as you said, that breaking those glass ceilings, that's when it started. So I really had to, fight my way into mechanical engineering, and my parents supported me, my father supported me, and, लोगों से बात करके, and rector से, commandant से, this, that, and the other. Finally, I entered mechanical engineering. There, I was the only girl, and there were 60 boys. EME में वो लड़कियों का पहला बैच था. उससे पहले जो सिविलियन थे वो I think 2-3 डिग्रीज पहले ही सिविलियन स्टूडेंट इनटेक स्टार्ट हुई थी. उससे पहले तो obviously it was just for the army cadets, and उसमें भी there were 5 girls in computer engineering, and I was the only one in mechanical engineering. और हमारी जो obviously जो subject wise भी इतनी synergy नहीं थी कि जैसे computers and electrical की होती है. So we always had our separate classes, separate labs. Even there was a time when our buildings were separate. So yeah, that's how it started, and well, it was what it was. The teachers there were very supportive. और एक मुझे फायदा एक तरह से शायद आप later मुझे पूछें, but the good side, the downside was, yes, it's not as much fun as any ordinary college life would be. एक loneliness सी और उस तरह था, but the good side was that I was more focused on the studies and the work and the engineering, and I would mostly do my projects alone, so there was more learning element in that. That was the benefit, and then because our Nust ka itna discipline or wo sara, because of this army environment, बहुत ज्यादा कुछ activities इस तरह की नहीं थी, distracting activities नहीं थी, so there was I mean, I do encourage extracurricular activities, वो भी limited थी, but the other distractions were not there, so that in a way enabled me to focus more on my work and my studies, and the that was the good part. Then when in the last year, when you have to go for internships, I went to Lahore to the Honda motorbike plant and the car plant. I did my internship there. I assembled a bike. I assembled an engine. Then I rode that bike. So that was a very good experience. And early on, during my graduate studies also, I was associated with one of the industries here in manufacturing industries in Islamabad. तो ऑन एंड ऑफ में जाती थी कि वो एक साइड लर्निंग थी उसमें, और फिर उसके बाद I think I worked in the industry, the manufacturing industry in Pakistan, design concerns in Lahore, in Islamabad, and meanwhile I enrolled myself in the flying school in Lahore, and I earned my private pilot license. And then I got my scholarship for UK to do my master's in aerospace dynamics at Cranfield University. और वहाँ पे I worked on the air-to-air refueling of drones. And meanwhile, because they used to give like 2 flights to all students so that they understand, what they're studying and what they're making, how it actually feels. तो वहाँ पे मैंने उसको इंस्ट्रक्टर को बताया कि I already have a private pilot license, because Cranfield had its own airport and some acrobatic trainers from World War II. So he said, okay, then what do you want to do? So I said, I want to spin the aircraft. So spinning is like, flying it nose down and rotating it. It's one of the acrobatic maneuvers जो fighter planes जो different maneuvers करते हैं, या spin में कभी aircraft चला जाता है, तो pilots are trained that if that happens, how do you recover from it? So he said it's a bit intimidating, but then he taught me all the acrobatic maneuvers जो आप air shows में देखते हैं, like roll and loop and hammerhead and spin, flat spin, barrel roll. तो ये सब फिर मैंने उधर से सीखा और साथ अपनी पढ़ाई की, और even my instructor used to say that it's very strange that a girl like you from Pakistan is doing all this. तो मैं कहती थी उसको कि पाकिस्तान कोई गांव नहीं है, तो that's एक वो आप बात करिए ना, एक perception बन जाती है एक जगह की, और लेकिन yes, it was a very unique experience for me to have that opportunity. And then he told me that girls generally have better G tolerance, और उसमें फिर my personal G tolerance was like minus 2.5 G to plus 5 G, which the instructor said was good. So that's why I got to learn a lot from him. Basically that, and then I came back to Pakistan. I got married, and before marriage, I found out that I had gotten another scholarship for my PhD. So, and then I was, I had finished my master's. I was planning to go back to Pakistan and get married. So I went to the PhD supervisor and I said, okay, give me some time. like I can't join immediately, but I'm going to go back, get married, and then I'll come back. And I said, just wait, मैं शादी करके वापस आती हूँ, and then I'll continue my PhD. So he was very supportive. He said, yes, ठीक है, you can join after 6 months or a year. So 11 months after my marriage, I went back and I started my PhD. So आप जो बात करी थी ना कि on the personal side. So I think when I went back, when I started my PhD, so उस वक्त that was my first wedding anniversary. So my husband asked me कि what did तुमने अपने लिए क्या खरीदा? तो मैंने कहा मैंने एक कैलकुलेटर खरीदा है because I have to start studying again. So yeah, but उस वक्त at times sometimes you think it's difficult, it's challenging, but later इंसान यही सोचता है कि अच्छा हुआ मैंने हिम्मत कर ली और कर लिया. So anyways, I started my PhD. I attended the coursework and I continued to learn flying as well there. And then my daughter was born. So my husband was based in Pakistan. So when my daughter was born, I think it was just, I took my MPhil exam one week before she was born. And उस वक्त फिर I thought कि, my supervisor also thought that, you should just go back and continue your research in Pakistan because it's not, staying alone with a very young child is not really practical. So I was fortunate that he was so supportive. And so anyways, I came back, I continued my research. My father is also a retired scientist, a very experienced scientist. So he started helping me because it's kind of difficult. I mean, earlier on I used to do projects with him, and even EME maybe like my final year project. He kind of helped me with that. So he was just helping me get ho jaye PhD, with a young child. And I used to come to my parents' house because my sister used to look after the baby, and I used to work. So and my mother is also a professor in chemistry. तो जो उसके chemistry side के चीजें होती थी मैं उनसे पूछती थी, combustion chemistry and all that. तो मेरी बहन कहती थी लगता है पूरा घर मिलके एक PhD कर रहा, लेकिन I just continued. And then जो मुझे उसमें question एक दिया गया था, that was on environmental engines, because now that's where all the aircraft propulsion research is going into. It's on because they've reached like an epitome or a pinnacle in terms of technology and efficiencies and all that, but then it's at an environmental cost. So now the aviation industry is like challenged by emissions, global warming in the sky, and pollutants. So now all your research is converging towards making green engines, green aircraft, environment friendly aircraft. So within that domain, I was given this work on contrail mitigation, which is like contrail is this white smoke out of the aircraft, and that's frozen water vapor. Now water vapor and carbon dioxide are the two main pollutants of aircraft, and it's that's called a lot of contrail is like one of the abundant ones. It's just frozen water vapor that contributes 5 times more to carbon dioxide than basically to pollution than carbon dioxide, and it's very abundant. So I started working on it with my dad. He came up with 2 inventions that we got patented, and they were basically like a contrail-free engine, like an add-on machinery to an aero-engine that can process exhaust emissions and convert them into liquid water. So then after the patents, I started developing the engineering design and all that for that, which was part of my PhD. And then I went back to Cranfield. And my daughter, when she was 3, I enrolled her in the school on campus, and I went back with her. My husband was still working in Pakistan. and my work won some student prizes, and my supervisor and my university highlighted that this has a lot of societal impact, global impact. It's they made my thesis confidential for 5 years, and they said that you must take it beyond your PhD. So within that process, I due to one of the student prizes that I had won, I went to Monaco for a clean equity conference, and there I realized that it was always somewhere in the back of my mind कि मैंने एक दिन अपनी company बनानी है. Even when I was doing my engineering, even before that, but and I knew that there were a lot of stepping stones. It would not, one by one, I have to, you know, step up the ladder. So वहाँ पे, I kind of realized that, even you can do that for environmental technologies. They can be made into commercial products and they can raise funding. And that's when I spelt it out aloud. I said it to one of the other participants. I said I would be setting up my own company after my PhD. And so after graduating from my PhD, I explored options. There were options to set it up in UK. और वहाँ पे उनका ये था यूनिवर्सिटी का कि अगर आप यहाँ रहेंगी और यहाँ बनाएंगी तो you'll get all the support and everything, but पाकिस्तान में हम नहीं कर सकते. बट मैंने obviously my family is here, और फिर हम मैंने अपने वालिद साहब के साथ काम किया हुआ था और उनकी शमूलियत भी बहुत जरूरी थी and all that. उनकी भी contribution इसमें है. तो मैं वापस आ गई पाकिस्तान और फिर मैंने उनके साथ मिलके 2000, I came back in 2017, but then in 2018 I set up this company as Pakistan's first commercial engine and R&D aerospace company. और इसका नाम मेरी बेटी ने रखा. She was 6 years old at that time. और मेरे ख्याल है वो हर वक्त मेरे साथ आती जाती उठती बैठती थी, because अब तो थोड़ी बड़ी हो गई है, independent हो गई है, but a young child is always with mom. तो वो हर वक्त यही बातें सुनती रहती थी. तो जब मैंने अपने हस्बैंड को कहा कि मैं कंपनी का नाम क्या रखूं, तो he said कि we were just discussing. So she came up with a list of 10 names, and they were all very relevant to my work. And so then my husband asked her, okay, what do you know of Mama's project? So she said, I'm not giving it away. So she even understood that, it has to be, it's confidential, and, it has. So she really, I think there was a lot of invisible learning that she did. And later she said to me that now that you've formed a company, the next thing you need to do is build a team and push the money up. तो काफी सारी चीजें सीख गई और अभी भी वो काफी इन्वॉल्व होती है और मैं उसको बताती भी, इन्वॉल्व रखती भी हूँ कि अब ये हुआ, आज ये हुआ, यूं हो गया, successes and failures, because that's how children learn. And that's how they also, I think, because I think children are very forgiving. If they understand that, जैसे आप कह रही हैं कि खवातीन का ये काम होता है और ये ड्यूटी होती है, तो आई थिंक सोसाइटी कई दफा हमें फॉरगिव नहीं करती, लेकिन बच्चे जो होते हैं ना, दे रियली अंडरस्टैंड एंड दे नो, इफ दे अंडरस्टैंड दैट ओके माय मॉम इज डूइंग समथिंग गुड, समथिंग for the world or whatever, she's making a contribution, they would always support you. She's always supported me. So yeah, so that's how this long journey continues. फिर जैसे ये जो नई इन्वेंशन है इसका, तब तो वो PhD में तो it was like an engineering model and simulations and all that. That's the level you go in a PhD. And then in the company we made the prototype on a small scale. We tested it. We're still testing it. आज के साथ भी जो मेरी coordination में इतनी delays हुए, we are having some field testing yesterday. We had some tests today. तो वो भाग दौड़ सी है और I was telling you कि 5 बजे के बाद, because इतनी वो there's a lot of noise, and machines are running and so much is happening, engines are firing. Okay, it's not possible usse pehle. But anyways, so we are testing it, and then the next step is that you build it on the actual scale of big aircraft, and then you get it certified, and then you introduce it into the market. So that's how this journey goes. In terms of our work, I mean, contrails pe dunya mein, there's a lot of research going on, but I think we are the only company that is actually, we call ourselves global. Globally, we are the first movers in this technology that is actually commercially developing this technology in the world. And uske alawa jo ek aad aur company that I know, they are doing some contrail avoidance through through AI and through software, where you get data and you avoid regions of contrails, but not like a hardware or a technology product. So abhi to hum yahan tak pahunche hain, and we hope that, because the next generation of environmentally safe aircraft are going to be most likely being propelled by hydrogen. So with hydrogen, this problem, because if you burn hydrogen, you don't get carbon dioxide. So they are solving the carbon dioxide issue, but contrails would be 3 times more, because hydrogen mein to banta hi water vapor hai. So then, and that technology has a lot of synergy with our work. So this would also go along. Other than that, during COVID, I mean, yeah, it was obviously a roller coaster for everybody, and for us too. But it gave me some peace of mind, in the sense that there was also another invention that I had been thinking for many years, and maybe I wanted to do my PhD on it. लेकिन उस वक्त वो, I started working on this, and it was on my mind that we have to get this patented. So it's like a supersonic commercial engine, जैसे आपका Concorde होता था, but it had its limitations in technology. It was very noisy, and it couldn't comply to noise regulations on ground. So we kind of invented a new supersonic engine that we got patented, and it was granted internationally within, I think, 8 months. And coincidentally, on the day, just in Women in Science and Engineering Day, February mein, I got a letter from them. So I was expecting कि इसमें corrections होंगी, जैसे research में academics में होता है, आप paper submit करो, corrections आती हैं, patents में भी आती हैं कई दफा, you have to. And I just learned that they had already, granted it. It was approved for a grant. So I think that puts me in the list of, the few women engine inventors in recorded history in the world. So this is my journey. मैंने शायद आपको बोर किया बहुत लंबा.
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, बहुत इंस्पायरिंग जर्नी है. I didn't want to stop you anywhere. I didn't want to interrupt you, because बहुत इंस्पायरिंग जर्नी है, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग जर्नी है, और बहुत ज़्यादा स्टेप्स हैं इसमें. I think right from where you said कि आपको बचपन से शौक था, you knew what you wanted to do. इतनी clarity of mind, I think you must be inspired by your father, mashallah, that he was in.
Both my parents. My my mother also did her PhD after her marriage, and she's a professor in the university. She teaches quantum chemistry. तो वो घर का environment था. उन्होंने हमें कभी force नहीं किया, but they were always very encouraging. अभी तक हैं.
I can imagine, like, आपकी बेटी माशाल्लाह, you're not forcing her anything, but आप जैसे बता रही हैं कि she is also so much interested, and she's taking
interest. I think you give them that environment and you encourage them and involve them in your work, तो वो बच्चों का इंटरेस्ट खुद ही से डेवलप हो जाता है. वो अभी भी आती है, और कभी उसका मैंने उसको एक सिलेबस बना के दिया कि तुम लैब में, वर्कशॉप में यू नो हमारी फैक्ट्री में इन मशीन्स पे काम करो, यू नो, तो वो once in a while she comes, she recognizes them by the, अब मैंने ब्लू वाली मशीन पे काम करना है, मैंने व्हाइट वाली पे करना है, बट यू नो ग्रेजुअली वो यू नो she is happy to do it, and I don't force her, but वो उसका एक, so इसी तरह हमारे पेरेंट्स ने भी हमेशा encourage किया, कोई स्कूल प्रोजेक्ट्स होता था, कुछ होता था, उसमें भी वो यू नो दे वुड हेल्प अस, और जिस भी डायरेक्शन में जाना हो दे वो, मतलब कभी हमें ऐसे नहीं हुआ कि हमने कुछ कहा हो, जैसे जब मैंने मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग करनी थी तो बाकी लोगों ने कहा कि क्या जरूरत है और ये लड़कियों के लिए नहीं है और सब कुछ, और फिर एडमिशन भी नहीं मिला, तो यू नो एक आप एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट कर रहे हो कि किसी तरह, लेकिन my parents never said anything. Like my father was he did what he could कि जिससे भी बात करनी है, जो भी करना है कि ये हो जाए और मिल जाए, तो ये जी बिल्कुल उसका बहुत रोल होता है, और फिर आई थिंक आफ्टर मैरिज हस्बैंड की भी सपोर्ट का बहुत रोल होता है, and I was fortunate in that way, and I would think that after marriage it's very much a give and take relationship कि आप भी you know जितना you support the other person to grow, they support you to grow, so it works that way. Parents का तो एक बड़ा unconditional होता है, लेकिन आई थिंक जब आपको शुरू से सपोर्ट एक मिल रही होती है एक डायरेक्शन में, तो फिर यू नो आफ्टर मैरिज आल्सो यू नो द हस्बैंड थिंक्स कि अच्छा इसी तरह यू नो दैट्स द वे इट शुड बी.
Yes, आपकी जर्नी like I was saying is inspiring each and every step. Especially आपने जो बताया कि EME में you were the first girl in mechanical engineering. That is so inspiring. That is such a big difference you made there, and I think it goes such a long way. Or I'm glad you had the supportive parents. I'm glad the Nust people actually agreed and made it happen. So that's a great thing. Or definitely family support.
Nust के teachers भी बहुत अच्छे, बहुत support करते थे. They went out of their way to support me when I was the only girl.
That's very encouraging to know, you know, okay, it's not like अगर वो नहीं करते थे allow तो कोई girl आ गई, so then they would have any, you know, preconceived notions or anything against it. They actually helped you. So that's brilliant what you did there. I think you paved the ways for so many girls out there. और आपकी जर्नी का जो एक एक स्टेप आपने बताया, आपकी माशाल्लाह इतनी ज्यादा अचीवमेंट्स हैं. इट्स अ वेरी वेरी यूनिक फील्ड. नॉट एवरीबडी you know can actually have those guts, I would say. Of course आपकी फैमिली की सपोर्ट थी, of course आपके घर का की तरफ से environment ऐसा था that enabled you and everything, but I would give a lot of credit to your guts, especially जो आपने aerobatics सीखने की बात की, जब आपने flying में interest की बात की. So definitely this is such huge example in front of us. I'm sure girls would look up to you and try to follow your path as well. हम थोड़ा सा नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे आते हैं. आप बात करी थी रिसर्च की, आपने पाकिस्तान में भी की, आपने काम इधर भी किया, आपने उधर भी किया. आर देयर एनी प्रैक्टिसेस, एनीथिंग दैट यू नो जस्ट द टॉप ऑफ योर हेड यू कैन पुट अ फिंगर ऑन कि ये चीज पाकिस्तान में नहीं होती और होनी चाहिए?
फर्क है डेफिनेटली. देयर आर डिफरेंट वर्ल्ड्स, देयर आर डिफरेंट सिस्टम्स. वहां पे मुझे लगता है कि it's like you are part of a system and the stage is kind of set for you in the sense के आपने अपना रोल करना है, तो you get a lot of infrastructural and institutional support के सब लोग अपना काम करें, you're doing your bit of work. यहाँ पे मुझे लगता है कि you have to start from scratch and आपको एक एक चीज खुद करनी है. जैसे मैं कह रही हूँ कि स्टेज सेट है और आपने अपना रोल प्ले करके चले जाना है. यहाँ पे तो आपने पहले स्टेज बनाना है, फिर लाइट्स लगानी है, फिर साउंड करनी है, फिर आपने अपना रोल करना है. लेकिन दे बोथ हैव देयर एडवांटेजेस एंड देयर डाउनसाइड्स. मतलब ठीक है आपको टाइम ज्यादा लगता है, रिसोर्स ज्यादा लगता है, लेकिन आपकी लर्निंग बहुत है उसमें, आपकी कैपेबिलिटी डेवलपमेंट बहुत है, और जितनी आपकी कैपेबिलिटी स्ट्रांग होती है उतना आपका कंट्रोल स्ट्रांग होता है, आपकी महारत और स्किल सेट उस तरह डेवलप होता है. जैसे बाहर ही होता है कि टेक्नोलॉजी में भी किसी R&D में उनको कोई चीज चाहिए तो वो उसको वो मंगवा लेते हैं। यहाँ भी बड़ी ऑर्गेनाइज हमें होता है, हमें ये मशीन चाहिए, हमें इससे ये काम करना है, हमें पहले वो मशीन बनानी पड़ जाती है कई दफा। लेकिन yes, it takes time, it takes money, but yes, we learn so much, and our capability and our learning curve is very steep. So yes, there is a difference दोनों जगह में, और दोनों के अपने फवायद और नुकसानात हैं।
That's a very positive way to look at
कई
it.
दफा होता है कि जब वो स्विच होता है ना, तो स्पेशली जब वहां पे जिन लोगों को बहुत ज्यादा इंडस्ट्री में उधर काम करने की आदत हो, और जब वो यहाँ आते हैं तो दे फाइंड इट वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू अडैप्ट। ये एक इश्यू होता है, बिकॉज इट्स अ टोटली डिफरेंट सिस्टम। लेकिन आई थिंक मुझे इसलिए वहां पे तो खैर मैंने ज्यादा एक्सपोजर एकेडमिक्स का लिया, हालांकि हमारा बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग थे यूनिवर्सिटी इंडस्ट्री लिंकेजेस, लेकिन चूंकि मैंने यहाँ इंडस्ट्री में काम किया हुआ था, तो दैट रियली काइंड ऑफ हेल्प्ड मी, आई अंडरस्टूड द सिस्टम व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड माय ओन कंपनी हियर।
माशाल्लाह, डेफिनेटली आपकी जब आप प्रोज एंड कॉन्स की बात कर रही हैं, तो जैसे आपने बताया कि आप पर्सनल लाइफ मैटर्स अ लॉट, प्लेज अ ह्यूज रोल, कि आपको उसमें भी जो सपोर्ट यहाँ मिल सकती थी, जो आपके लिए पॉसिबल था यहाँ करना, बट स्टिल इट वाज अ वेरी करेजियस डिसीजन कि आपने सोचा आप यहाँ आके करेंगे। एंड लाइक यू आर सेइंग कि कई दफा मशीन स्क्रैच से आपको खुद बनानी पड़ जाती है। That's not very easy to go about.
और बहुत से चैलेंजेस हैं। एक तो यहाँ पे किसी को एविएशन का पता ही नहीं है, बिकॉज देयर इज नो सिविल एविएशन, देयर इज नो कमर्शियल एविएशन, इट्स आइदर डिफेंस R&D or the combat force like the air force or airline operations. So when you talk about designing engines and designing planes and making them, it's like समझाना ही बहुत मुश्किल है। फिर आपको वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सपोर्ट नहीं चाहिए, इतनी हाई एंड टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए नहीं मिलती, वो इकोसिस्टम नहीं मिलता, फंडिंग नहीं मिलती, so there are all kinds of challenges.
But hopefully, at least somebody took the plunge, somebody has been out there, you are just making a difference. आपने start तो किया, first mover किसी को तो बनना होता है, so that's a huge thing you did there, and inshallah in the years to come maybe things will improve more, और हमें ज़्यादा नजर आएंगे, and everybody would have a example to follow कि आपकी company है who did that.
And as now the people say that जैसे हम अपने आप को भी कहते हैं कि we are born global, we are making it for the world. It's not that Pakistan is our market or we are targeting Pakistan. So अपनी सोच को हमेशा कुशादा रखना चाहिए और बड़ा रखना चाहिए कि it's not, कई लोग कहते हैं नहीं पाकिस्तान में इसका क्या स्कोप है, तो पाकिस्तान is not really a market में स्टूडेंट्स बहुत सारे आते हैं एंड जैसे कि हम एरोस्पेस करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन पाकिस्तान में इसका स्कोप नहीं है। So, but that's not the way you should be thinking.
And अगर आपकी first company है, तो this is how the industry starts as well. You have to have more people participating, but that's a long way. So that's why I'm saying it's a very courageous decision.
People know about it. I think internationally a lot of people know about our work and about our company. So it doesn't really, it hasn't made that much of a difference that this company is based in Pakistan, but लोगों को पता है, और it's more about the quality of your work and the nature of your work than anything else.
जी बिल्कुल, आप ठीक कह रही हैं कि of course it's in Pakistan, and मैंने आप ही के बहुत से इंटरव्यूज में ये बात देखी हुई है, which I find so amazing and so inspiring when you say that we share the same sky, so we share the responsibility. And when we say global warming, so it's not just US, it's not just Pakistan, it's not in just one part of the country, of the world, of course. Everybody shares the responsibility, and it is a crisis. So very true. हर एक ने हर जगह से करना है. That's why I said in the very beginning that you are making a difference at so many levels. इसी बात को मैं थोड़ा सा आगे लेके चलूंगी from what I started. आपने glass ceiling smash की, आपने EME में आप first girl थी. Like we learned कि of course माशाल्लाह आपकी family की तरफ से आपको बहुत support थी, but still आप इसी society का part हैं. Do you have anything to share there? Are there any practices that need to be changed or anything like that?
बिल्कुल। मैं पहले तो मैं यही कहूंगी कि हम इस सोसाइटी का पार्ट हैं, एंड where we need, for a balanced society, we need a contribution from for women. और जो लोग इस तरह का आर्गुमेंट देते हैं कि खवातीन को पढ़ने की या उसकी जरूरत नहीं है, बहुत से ऐसे फील्ड्स हैं, जैसे लेट्स सपोज स्कूल टीचर्स, डॉक्टर्स, उसमें अगर जब तक खवातीन नहीं होंगी तो एक मतलब हमारा एक कंफर्ट लेवल ही एस्टैब्लिश नहीं हो सकता। और वो खवातीन कहाँ से आएंगी अगर आप सब खवातीन के लिए एक यही एटीट्यूड रख लें। And as you know, they say that men and women, they bring different, they look at things from a different lens, and they bring a different perspective to the table. So that's why, you know, the gender balance is very important. I would also say that, you know, yes, I don't dismiss anything. मैं ये नहीं कहती कि कई लोग जैसे कहते हैं कि, you know, family life is not important, or getting married is not important, or children are not important. Everything is important. Lekin at the end of the day, you know, a woman is also a human being. She has a brain, she has a mind, she has some capabilities, some passions, some talents, and they need to be exercised. मतलब हर चीज का एक सही इस्तेमाल होता है, और अगर उसको सही डायरेक्शन में नहीं इस्तेमाल किया जाता तो you know it just creates some disruption, some imbalance in the society. तो इसी तरह जैसे अल्लाह ताला ने आदमियों को जहन दिया है और टैलेंट्स दिए हैं, सब कुछ दिया, औरतों को भी दिया, और उनको इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए। और अगर हमारे कल्चर में समटाइम्स, जैसे ये तो खैर एक बहुत लंबी, इस पे तो आई कैन जस्ट गो ऑन एंड ऑन, कि how, you know, if you read history, how women have influenced, because जैसे हमारे कल्चर में एक चीज है कि women are not expected to be breadwinners. So sometimes they can take up roles and challenges that men cannot, because for them, you know, their career paths and everything is defined by, you know, they have to earn money, they have to earn for the family, they have to support families. So they don't take the very risky path. The women can take that. Sometimes they can go into professions that are very professionally rewarding, but maybe not that much financially rewarding, and they can manage it at a slow pace because उनके जो drivers हैं, and the motivation is very different from men. So that's why it's absolutely important. And as I say, self-recognition is important. Your self-identity is important. Yes, you know, you fit into different roles as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, but what is your identity as a human being? That is equally important. तो ये सब चीजें जरूरी हैं। फिर जब हम अपने कल्चर की बात करते हैं, अपनी सोसाइटी की बात करते हैं, तो इसमें यह है कि हमारे यहाँ एक सब कॉन्टिनेंट कल्चर है, उसकी कुछ we have some remnants, or we have some takeaways from that. They have good takeaways, bad takeaways. There's some Hindu culture also, and then we have our religion, ठीक है, जो हमारे दीन में बताया गया, and we have like this confused mix, जिसकी वजह से we have unreasonable expectations from women at times, especially after marriage, जो एक expectations होती हैं. There's a long list of expectations, not just from the husband or the children, but even from the extended family, जो हमारे दीन का हिस्सा नहीं है, जो ख्वातीन की जिम्मेदारी नहीं है. तो अगर आप उसके उस लाइन पे चल पड़े तो then you know, the things, it's not possible. So you have to be very clear कि हमारे दीन में हमारी जिम्मेदारियां हैं क्या, हमारे फराइज क्या हैं, हमारे हुकूक क्या हैं, and within that perimeter it is very easy to manage your own identity, your passion, and you know, even with children, yes, there is a time they need more of your time and your attention and your energies, but then they also grow up and they start building their own world. So you know, there is always this slot that you get for your you know, self growth, I would say. So ये सब चीजें you know, there are things that we need to rethink as a society, and also that it is possible to to manage between all roles. And what I'm doing right now, I think अभी अगर मैं बात करूं तो वो जो कहते हैं कि खवातीन नहीं कर सकती, इस वक्त तो मेरे ख्याल दुनिया में कोई आदमी भी ये काम नहीं कर रहा जो इस वक्त मैं कर रही हूँ. तो I always say that professions have to be gender neutral. It's not, you are an engineer, you are a professional. It should not matter that you are a woman or a man. बाकी ये कि जो हमारी जो भी सोसाइटी में ग्लिचेस हैं वो हमने those perceptions need to change. Definitely, I agree. I have to fight them as well. ऐसी बात नहीं है कि everybody has to fight their battles, but then you just have to be sure and you have to be focused. And so that is the main thing. एक और बात मेरे जहन में आ रही थी वो इस वक्त भूल गई है मुझे, लेकिन याद आई तो मैं
perfectly fine. बहुत अच्छा आंसर है आपका. And yes, I think I can go on for an hour on this topic. It's very close to my heart, and whatever you're saying makes perfect sense. उसमें सिर्फ एक बात पे मैं comment करूँगी, especially I think that's the core of the whole issue, the whole problem, कि हम culture और religion को mix करते हैं और mix ऐसे करते हैं जिस तरह वो हमें ठीक serve करता हो. We are not fair when we apply religious values. We are not fair when we apply cultural values and when we mix them together. And I always give one example of Hazrat Khadija. She was the first Muslim woman and she was an entrepreneur. हमने तो कहीं भी नहीं पढ़ा कि उनको religiously कहीं भी जैसे ही वो she converted to Islam, she was told she can't do it anymore. This is not her responsibility. She cannot be equal to a man. We never heard anything. तो अगर आप religion और culture को mix कर रहे हैं तो फिर fair होके mix करें. Don't just define the way you want.
और दूसरा ये कि अब तो खैर थोड़ी सी changes आए हैं, लेकिन जो हमारा mainstream मीडिया भी है और डिजिटल मीडिया में है, उसमें भी जो आपने एक perception है या जो role models है, we don't have real life role models. आपकी entertainment industry में भी so young children, they just look up to models or actresses or whatever, or the fashion industry is dominating. तो उनके लिए कोई उससे बढ़ के कोई चीज ही नहीं है, कोई रोल मॉडल्स ही नहीं है खवातीन में. आप ड्रामों में भी कभी आपको ऐसे नहीं होगा कि कोई जो लीड रोल है वो कोई डॉक्टर है या इंजीनियर है. ऐसा मैंने तो कभी नहीं देखा, बहुत कम, शायद कोई डॉक्टर देखी हो, लेकिन इस तरह के, हालांकि खवातीन हमारे जो सोसाइटी है, मतलब चाहे उनका नंबर थोड़ा है, लेकिन there are women who are doing some amazing things. तो वहां पे भी जरूरत है कि जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन है उसके लिए इन चीजों को नॉर्मलाइज किया जाए.
Definitely, media plays the strongest role in changing perceptions, in making perception, and this is a huge responsibility. There are some changes which baat ho rahi hai, at least people can call out when they see something like that. Like a decade ago, nobody could even call out कि कुछ ऐसा हो रहा है. And what you said about dramas and everything, that is so true. जो मैंने भी शुरू में बात की थी कि उन्होंने ही शायद ये perception बनाई है कि sole purpose is just to get married, क्योंकि ड्रामा भी उसी के इर्द-गिर्द evolve होता है कि एंड में हीरोइन की शादी किससे होनी है. And what are her career aspirations, how she struggled and all, वो बहुत कम part होता है, even if it is there. So yes, true. And like we said, we can go on talking about it, but still, wherever possible, on whichever platform, we need to talk about it, because इन चीजों को normalize करने की जरूरत है. किसी तरह तो ये norm बनेंगे. And when we have such amazing examples, such inspiring examples like you, hopefully we can make that difference together, inshallah. थोड़ा EME पे आऊंगी मैं, just to conclude the interview. आपने बताया you had a good time, you were the first woman, first female, first girl at that point. आपको बहुत support मिली. Overall, आप किसी teacher को, किसी class fellow को, किसी को भी याद करना चाहेंगी, shout out देना चाहेंगी?
I think teachers तो सारे ही हमारे बहुत अच्छे थे, और क्योंकि क्या कहते हैं, इतनी कम लड़कियां थी, तो everybody gave us like very nice preferential treatment. All all the staff, जो हमारे administrators थे, teachers थे, मतलब वो तो इतने सारे हैं, मैं हर एक को मतलब मुझे कभी ऐसे नहीं लगा कि किसी ने किसी भी तरह डिस्करेज, हमेशा it was supportive, encouraging, accommodating in every possible way. और yeah, so overall, मतलब yes, I won't say it was a very enjoyable experience being there. इस तरह का माहौल नहीं था, but yes, it was a learning experience, definitely.
Yes, that's good to know. और आप जो कह रही हैं that matters the most than any other one, because me being
I think in the last year I was also the senior girl student, and that's when more girls came in. So the environment kind of normalized. जो नीचे वाली डिग्रीज थी उनमें इतनी लड़कियां हो गई थी कि they needed a senior girl student to manage all the girls. वरना शुरू में तो it was just 5-6 of us and always focused on our work.
Since I am from a relatively junior batch, और थी भी मैं NBS से, वहाँ हमेशा gender balance ज़्यादा था. When we started this channel, a lot of people suggested gender balance नहीं है, and I was telling them, you know yourself, कि senior batches of engineering had such less girls, such little number कि उन सबको reach out करना ही problem है. So it's so amazing that you paved the way, and now we do have quite a bit of gender balance.
I think इसके बाद मैकेनिकल में बहुत लड़कियां शायद नहीं आई, लेकिन आई हैं.
But overall trend है कि अब gender balance हो
गया. It was like mechanic. अभी भी मैंने सुना है कि नास्ट में जो एरोस्पेस है, जो कॉलेज ऑफ एरोनॉटिकल इंजीनियरिंग में, उसमें भी वो अभी तक लड़कियों को नहीं अलाउ करते, जो करना चाहिए. लेकिन मैकेनिकल में अब आई थिंक देयर आर गर्ल्स.
मैकेनिकल में ओवरऑल ट्रेंड आई थिंक सारी दुनिया में ही ऐसा है. इवन जर्मनी में भी बहुत कम होती हैं लड़कियां मैकेनिकल में. बट वही वाली बात है, by choice कोई नहीं आना चाहता is something different, and if somebody wants to come and qualifies on merit, उसको आने देना, which you started, that's a huge thing. I taught mechanical engineering students back in 2010, 2009 and 2010, and it was an all boys class as well. But the next batch then had at least 4 girls, and the trend started and all. So there is a difference, especially age 12 जो campus है, वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा आपको gender balance नजर आता है in all colleges माशाल्लाह. So there's a change there.
वो भी काफी relaxed है. Like one of my not student, लेकिन एक junior थी, वो कहती थी कि EME के बारे में, she used to say कि this is not a co-educational institution, it's a boys institution, because there are very, very few girls.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sara, for all your time, for all your inspiring talk. बहुत ज़बरदस्त आपकी जर्नी है, बहुत अमेजिंग है. इंशाल्लाह you have a long way to go ahead. हम आपको न्यूज़ में देखते ही रहते हैं, and I'm sure कि हम आगे जाके आपको और ज़्यादा देखेंगे. And everything we talked about, I hope it makes any difference at any level. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for everything, the wisdom you shared, your experience you shared, the journey you shared. I'm really grateful. Thank you.
Okay. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you everyone for watching. Allah Hafiz.